Hey guys, I'm Harriet Rose. Make sure you follow By the Way podcast to keep in the loop with every single one of our incredible guests. Now let's get on with the pod. I'm Harriet Rose.
I'm Cat Burns. And by the way, I'm autistic.
Yes, you are.
I am.
And autistic people are... I have lots of autistic friends.
Do you?
Some of my favourite people on this earth. Some undiagnosed.
Probably loads undiagnosed.
Loads undiagnosed.
Loads of us. Well, I am diagnosed now, but before I was roaming the earth.
Just roaming wild.
Yeah.
Like a lion.
A timid one.
I was going to say, what animal would we say is autistic?
A cat.
And guess what? I've got a
I
cat.
actually do think cats. No, I actually do think cats. They're quite aloof.
That's why I love cats. And also, my girlfriend is what you describe as a black cat. You know, black cat and golden retriever energy.
Yeah. See, my girlfriend's 2 cats. They're the most loving cats ever. But one of them is just like a bit aloof and like does his own thing.
Well, the point is, they love you and then they're like, stop.
Yeah.
I need to be alone. And that's fairly similar
And I'm the same.
to autism.
I'll be like, love you so much. Even to the cats.
Yeah.
And then when they rub on me too much, I say, enough.
Yeah.
Finish now.
Enough now.
Enough. I don't want any more. And they still, and I go, enough. And then she's like, why do they love you so much? I'm like, I think it's because I'm aloof too.
Yeah, and cats love aloof people.
Because they're like, I want your attention.
My cat hates men, except for very soft-footed gay men.
So they need to be really gentle on their toes.
If you stomp,
They're out there.
it's not happening.
My dog loves men. But isn't that a thing? Like girl dogs love men.
Hate that for them. Because my cat's definitely, it's a man and he's gay.
Yeah.
He follows around male cats like, girl, he doesn't want to be your friend.
Really?
It's quite sad. Because no one wants to be his friend either. He's so beautiful. I don't know why, but...
No, that's like my dog's the same. When we're on walks, she wants to say hello to everybody, but...
They're not interested.
I think, and they walk past and they go, oh, who's that? And she's like, hey! And they're like, whoa, 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 whoa.
That's my childhood.
You going like this?
Who wants to be my friend? The answer is no one.
Oh, I didn't speak.
Yeah, we would have been a perfect match.
I didn't speak. Once I got my diagnosis and my mum, they were like, during the assessment, they like ask your parent, what were they like when they were a child? Did they do this? Did they do that? My mum was like, oh, wait, yeah, you would meet people and you wouldn't say a word. You would just stare at them. And we'd go, you need to say something now.
And I've got to tell you that I don't want to make this all about me, but I'm going to. I have always had an affinity with autistic people. And there's something about, I think, ADHD and autism.
Autism.
Here with me. I'm going to share you my autistic friend.
I think every autistic person needs their ADHD bestie.
Yeah, and I'm that person and I thrive in that dynamic.
Right.
Because I'm like, I really get it. I'm like, yeah, ignore me. Like, that's so fab. I'll keep talking.
Yeah.
And I'll comfort you with the chat. But I don't necessarily need you to validate my existence.
No, but then if you bring up something that I love, I will yap your ear off.
Yeah, and I want it.
And then maybe you won't even be listening. And that's kind of okay as well. Sometimes I just need to say it aloud. And I can actually probably look at you and know that you're not listening.
Yeah, and actually we were both so comfortable. Talk to me about diagnosis, because I think very regularly undiagnosed in younger people, especially women.
Yeah.
What was your diagnosis? Diagnosis.
Tell
me about your diagnosis, please.
It was well, I got my ADHD diagnosis when I was 21 and then my autism one when I was 23.
So you sort of leveled up. It was sort of like you started off like level 1 and then you went to level 10 in 2 years.
Because once I got the ADHD one, I was like, something inside my head has yet to be explored. There's another thing in there. And then like attention deficit. I am quite hyperactive as well if I'm really excited. Like I get it. But I was like, but I still really struggle in social situations in a way that's not the same as my ADHD way. The process of getting the diagnosis is really long, which is why it then kind of annoys me when people are like, oh, you know, there's people are getting overdiagnosed. I'm like, why would anybody want to put themselves through this?
It's honestly so long.
It's so long. Like the ADHD one is slightly shorter, but the autism one is really like, there's multiple assessments. They've got to speak to someone who's known you since you were a child, so a parent or a sibling or whatever. And then they do this, like, it's part of the assessments where they need to see your imagination skills.
Interesting.
Is that the best way to describe it? Where they're like, they'll give you like a picture of like a frog, and they'll be like, say what's happening in the image. And I'm like,
frog?
It's a frog looking out a window. And they're like, great.
Oh, I hate that.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
I just said it was and then, yeah, you're autistic. I was like, wait, what? And then they'll be like, do you do this? And do you do this? And it's just, yeah, it's really long. But then once I got the diagnosis, I was like, that also makes so much sense.
Can I just say there's a lot of people watching and listening right now who have just Googled frog looking out a window and they've looked at it and gone, I'm autistic.
They know, like, it's just this like a part of the assessment where it's like, it's very visual based and you have to, like, you kind of have to show how in which your brain works.
And it's, I completely understand it and it makes sense to a doctor.
Yes.
But it's like, how did you know that? But then, like you say, what a beautiful moment for you in that,
yes.
Like where you're like, because I know for me, even though, girl, we all knew I was ADHD, when I got that diagnosis, I cried because I was like, oh, everyone's just said shut up to me for like 20 years. And now I figured out why you should shut up instead.
Yeah, because it's harder to detect. Well, I don't think it's harder to detect in girls. I just think it's, when you think of ADHD and autism, you think of the young boys in class
that are running around, yeah.
And then you don't think of, you know, the girl that's shaking their leg underneath the table or just looking out the window and not focusing on what's going on and just thinking, oh, she's just a bit distracted or she's just a bit chatty. And there's other things to look out for in young girls that I think people are slowly doing. Like I'm getting messages from people saying, you know, my daughter's been diagnosed now and she's 8. So it's getting a bit younger, which I think is good, because then if you get the help earlier on, you can kind of manage your brain a lot easier.
Well, yeah, and also we're taught to not show it.
Yeah.
And I think the difference between young girls and young boys is that, like, boys are sort of encouraged, boys will be boys, run around, go and be crazy. Girls, it's like, don't let them know that you're uncomfortable. Don't let them know that you're not okay. And I do think that's changed now. I actually had a conversation with a teacher randomly at my gym, and because she overheard me talking about assessments, what it was like when I was at school. And she did say, she's now on, like, she's left now, but she sort of oversees school stuff. And she was like, it's drastically changed terms of what they recognise. Because actually what we realise now is it makes life easier for everyone when you don't just think this person is badly behaved or not listening or chatty. Because all my school reports were, she's got really good, there's something good in there, but she just can't stop talking. Anyway, we never found what was good in there, but we never stopped talking. So I made a career out of it, guys. Don't worry.
Well, no, that's like my sister. Like after I got my diagnoses,
yeah,
plural.
Yeah.
She was like, wait, but that's just like, I do that. And I was like, yeah, I think you've got ADHD.
Yeah, it's genetic.
If I have it, you definitely have it.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, maybe you're right. Yeah. And then she went and got her diagnosis. She was like, oh my gosh, but this is my whole life. And she got it at 28. And hers was like way more, I guess, obvious than mine. I think being ADHD it's like, they kind of combat each other.
And that's where, what I think is really interesting is the combination of ADHD and autism, because you think of them as being, essentially, the way that the world describes an autistic person is, is more the people that are more extreme on the spectrum of autism, where it's non-verbal, or it manifests in a non-verbal sense, or a physically sort of reactive sense to certain stimuluses. And actually, when you have the two together, it is two things fighting each other, isn't it?
Well, yeah, because I could have my iPad on, I could have the telly on, I could have something else on and be in a flow state.
Bliss.
I could just
bliss.
just be amazing because I'm in control of it. And then at some point I go, everything is too loud and everything needs to go away now. And I only need one sound. And it's like everything, like it's, or like my house could be a mess. And then I'm like, I can't function in this mess. But also if it's just like completely tidy all the time, I also don't know where anything is. And my brain is like, if I can't see it, then it doesn't exist. So my mum would be like, why do you have so many eggs? And I'm like, I couldn't see where the eggs were, so I got small.
I just want to touch on, you mentioned overdiagnosis. And a lot of people, I would say a lot of people in the boomer and above generation have this feeling of there is so many people that think they have ADHD and they don't. And I think in a similar sense to other things that we've uncovered about life, for example, you know, in a more serious sense, genuinely, like sexual assault and things like that. People say all of a sudden people are coming forward. No, they just didn't talk about it before.
This is my thing, because I'm like, I also feel like with diagnosis, I'm like, in the grand scheme of it, it's actually not that many people that are saying I have ADHD and I have autism. And also, I personally believe, well, for me, when people are like, it's a superpower and you're superhuman, I'm like, it doesn't feel like a superpower to me. I don't feel like, when I'm feeling like I'm really lazy and I'm incapable of completing any tasks and like I'm being really down on myself, this doesn't feel like a superpower. So in the grand scheme of it, it's not that many people in like the UK that are saying, yes, I've got ADHD and autism. I'm always like, if you feel inherently different from everybody else, and you see, when you're seeing these videos of like, oh, you know, these are the signs of ADHD, these are the signs of the autism, blah blah blah, and you're like, oh my god, I really see myself in that. Neurotypical people don't. They see those videos and they scroll. They go, oh, that's not me. I literally don't struggle with any of those things. And people who do go, oh my god, that's me. And then through the process of getting the diagnosis, sometimes it's not, and they're just like, oh, actually maybe I have some traits, but actually it's not that, and some it is. So I just think
fake news.
People need to shush.
Shush. And also don't worry about it, because actually it doesn't impact anything. And what I've tried to explain to a lot of people, which I do understand the mindset of being like, oh, for God's sake, like another thing that you can just make as an excuse about. Because certain people with anything, you can make an excuse about anything with anything. Yeah. And it's another thing that you can be like, oh, I can't do this because of X, Y, and Z. But actually the way I explain it to people is, for me, it's a way for me to stop hating myself. Because the parts of me that are, I was going to cry then. Like, because it does make me so sad. Because the parts of me that I've hated my whole I really felt like grace. That wave of like wanting to cry, because that little me that was told to stand in the corner because I shout, because I don't know, or I get really angry. I never physically been aggressive, but I would like be like, oh, at school, because I didn't know how to verbalize that I was overstimulated. Yeah. And that's what it's about. If you feel like your daughter or your child or your friend or your like cousin is oh, you just like making it up to make yourself feel better. No, it actually just helps you understand who you are as a person, and maybe it helps you not be so hard on yourself for the things that don't fit in society, essentially.
I agree. And I think the thing I don't necessarily enjoy is when people who don't have ADHD or autism, and they're just like, oh, I'm just so ADHD about this, and they like use it really flippantly,
like OCD, because I also have OCD, and when people are like, I'm OCD about cleaning, and I'm like, no, you're not.
I'm like, don't say it really flippantly. Like, if you are socially anxious, you can be like, oh, I get a bit socially anxious in situations, or like,
but usually if you are, you can't it's hard to vocalize it.
This is what I mean. So it's like, I that's when I don't really, I think that doesn't really help the conversation when people who don't have it, and I mean people who actually don't have it, not people who have yet to be diagnosed and they feel like they do. It's the people who don't, and they know they don't, but they're just like, oh, I'm just so ADHD and I'm so autistic about things like that. I'm like, don't flippantly use the term, because people who actually have it are struggling with this day to day, and we don't really say it. We just sort of exist and go through life, and we're just like struggling. And then if we see somebody else who's neurodivergent, you have it more in a two-way conversation where you go, yeah, I am autistic, and you go same, and then it's like a more of a low-key conversation rather than you just sort of shouting it about.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think I had my mum called me the other day because we talk about it. I've explained it because she's never experienced.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, mum, you know that you have ADHD, like undiagnosed.
My mum is autistic.
Yeah, yeah.
And she knows it too.
Yeah.
But she's also like, I'm in my 60s now.
My mum.
I'm me.
Sorry, and it's so true. But
Me.
But it's because they have been brought up in a generation where they are not allowed to have a reason. They're just like, everything's fine and I'll plow through. And it's like, my mum rang me the other day and it was the sweetest moment. She called me and I was saying something that I was experiencing. And she was like, darling, you know that's actually potentially an autistic trait. She said, I'm working with some people at the moment. She's doing some charity work with some people, and she was working with some autistic people, and she'd Googled it and it was an autistic trait. Because I do have autistic traits. Mm-hmm. I don't have autism because I've really looked into it.
Don't they say sometimes that, well, I saw somewhere that people say that some of the traits can overlap, but
yes,
other people say they can't, but sometimes you just have traits of something else, but it doesn't necessarily mean you have the...
Exactly.
Yeah.
My therapist, I've spoken to her a lot about it, and she believes that one can't exist without the other. And I kind of, there's no clinical research to say that. This is just an opinion. But like, that's how I feel. It's like, I do believe there are people that sit in one camp or the other, but there's sometimes traits that happen. Yeah. But it's also just like going, hey, maybe this isn't just you being a dick. Maybe you feel really intensely because of X, Y, and Z, because of this. And that's, for me, I think the most important thing, but also to feel seen. Yeah. Your mum, like you say, you know, she is who she is, but how supportive was she of you during the diagnosis and your sister and everything?
I honestly think one of the reasons why I got my diagnoses later, or kind of late teens, early adulthood, was because it's just so normal in my home. And my mum is a very solutions-based parent. So she was just like, you know, I would get very overstimulated by particular things. Food textures, she just wouldn't give me some of those foods. When she was washing my hair, I would get really distressed if the water would get in my eyes. So she would just buy the little caps, that like the little tennis caps, so that the water didn't get in my eyes.
Didn't know you could do that, but
neither did I. But she was like, this seems to be overstimulating you, and I don't want you to be stressed.
A resourceful queen.
Mm-hmm. So she's always been very like
pragmatic.
You're distressed by this. How do I make you not distressed by it? So I think that's why it then took me longer, because I was just sort of like, oh, these are just my little quirks, and this is just how I am, and like she would just accept. I would be like, I can't wear tights. I can't wear these things. Don't put them in me. Like I can't.
I really feel that about tights.
I hate tights.
You just saying tights has made me feel anxious.
I hate tights. I hate leggings. I think they're just so
tight.
You get it? Mm. It's hell on earth. I can never wear them. And so there was just so many things as a child. And then because my sister, obviously late diagnosed ADHD, everything we did in the house was really kooky and strange. We're quite a strange family. We sort of do weird dances and sort of strange things. We have little vocal stems that come in rotation for a few months.
My mum, throughout my childhood, you would just hear her like singing, or like if you said a word that was like and she'd be like, the sun will come out, like it will be linked to a song, or like.
So that's good. But that's echolalia.
Echolalia?
Yeah, echolalia. It's when you hear something that someone says and you have to repeat it. You have to say it.
Oh my God, I love that. I've never heard of that.
It's really common for neurodivergent people to, as soon as someone says something, you just have to say it. My current one is a Welsh accent. I love it, I do.
Oh, I love it. One of my friends is Welsh, and I spent the entire of the Edinburgh Fringe talking in a Welsh accent. I actually truly think that everybody from the year 2011 thinks I'm Welsh.
I think it's the best accent.
It's really good. Also,
I love it.
Irish is great.
I can't do that one. Do you know what? This is really off topic, but I just have to share it.
Please. And if you're watching this and you don't expect off topic, you're watching the wrong podcast.
So I fell down a deep hole of watching old Geordie Shore club appearances from
So not even episodes.
Like,
So
club,
just
club
filmed
appearances.
club experiences of people from the original series of Geordie Shore.
Yeah. 2023 and
Onwards.
no, sorry, 2013 and below.
And talk to me through it. Like, what did you discover?
Oh God, it's just absolutely incredible. So it's like little cuts of like the club, and it's like, whoa, this is a time capsule.
Yeah.
Number one, and then you've got Gary from Geordie Shore doing his club appearance, just like standing up, just like what, and then he gets interviewed, and he's just like talking, and I'm like, oh my God, he was so young. He was like 23, 22. He was like, yeah, we're filming season 3 right now. I was like it was a time to be alive.
Yeah.
We don't do that anymore. Do we? Do people do club appearances?
Not enough. I would pay a good lot of money to see Phil from EastEnders come to a club. I don't even watch EastEnders.
People used to do that. People used to like...
Hollyoaks was a big one.
The early season of Love Islanders, they would run around those clubs.
In the club.
The guys, for the first 6 months after they were at that house, they were in every club. That's where they'd rack up the money.
Yeah. Cash.
Yeah.
Imagine you as an autistic person doing a club experience. Like, obviously you perform live in places, but like you doing a club appearance would be club experience. It would be a club experience.
Club experience.
Come to Cat Burns' club experience.
That would honestly be like hell.
But what would your version of, okay, so let's bring it into 2026 and make it autistic. What would Cat Burns' like fan experience have? Would it be like all of you sitting with headphones on, like chilling, what's your favorite thing to do in an autistic sense?
Oh, I mean, if it was a club appearance, don't look at me.
Yeah. Okay.
Let me just like quickly go in.
Okay, so the rules of the club appearance.
Don't look at me.
Well, no, everyone's just wearing blindfolds.
Yeah. Or like look away from where I am.
Very Black Mirror. You walk in and everyone's looking at the wall.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Just because I can't, I already feel perceived.
Yeah.
So then to know everyone's eyes are like that, the concept of that in general is something I struggle with, like that whole industry where people like film you existing.
That makes
me frightened.
Yeah, and I imagine makes you it's a very big juxtaposition with the job that you do.
Yeah.
Because you didn't start on TikTok. You released a lot of music before Go went big.
Yeah.
And you were doing really well as it was, but then you did get big via it being in a room on your own.
Yeah.
As in, it was during COVID.
Yeah.
There were not millions of people standing in front of you. In a way, it was like the perfect autistic music release because you were able to do it from the comfort of your own home without those thousands of eyes. How's that transition felt for you? Because you did gain a lot of traction and gain a lot of followers in that time.
I feel like I've had like 2 waves. I think when Go blew up, it was like, that was like a wave of people coming to see me. And if I was out on the street, it would like people would come up to me a few times and stuff. And then when I did Traitors, that then took it to another level because I guess it being a reality TV game show, people then feel like they know you. And so I think people are like, oh yeah, like this is great. She's, representation for autistic ADHD people, but then kind of forget what that means if you actually come up to me.
It's the antithesis of why you shouldn't go up to someone in the street.
If you come up to me, I won't know what to say. I will smile.
Yeah.
Hi.
But
that's what happened.
Yeah. And I really feel for people when I see that happen.
Yeah.
When people come up to me, I'm so freaking shocked they know who I am that I'm like, oh my God, hi.
And yeah.
And also I'm ADHD, so I'm like, I'll talk your ear off. Sometimes I see people, like this morning in the gym, I saw a man reading his book on the treadmill, right? And I just wanted to stop being on my treadmill when he got off his to say, that's really clever that you can do both those things. I wanted to start a conversation for no...
But you could.
I didn't.
That's good.
I did
as well, because I think he just probably wanted to read.
He probably wanted to read, but that's it. It's the polar opposite thing of like actually...
Yeah, I can't. If someone like comes up to me, I have a mini script in my head.
What is it?
Hi. What's your name? They repeat their name.
Yeah.
I repeat it back.
Yeah.
So lovely to meet you. And then And then if they go off script,
Yeah.
then I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And
I'm just standing behind you and I yell, cut!
Yeah.
And then they have to walk away.
Yeah, because I'm just kind of like, I like if it's in passing. If I'm walking down the street.
Perfect.
Love your music, thank you so much. Passing. If I'm stopped, I really don't know what to say. And I think maybe because I'm so public facing and done Traitors and done all these things, people probably expect me to be different to how I am. And maybe because if they see me with my friends or my family, my mask is off.
Yeah, and you are different.
Yeah,
Of
because
course you are.
I'm comfortable with them, so I'm just gonna yap and I'm gonna talk about whatever. And then if somebody I don't know comes up to me, the mask goes straight back on because
there's a danger.
I'm a cat.
Yeah,
I have to defrost.
Isn't there?
Ain't there?
We need to do a compilation of all the neurodiversity moments that have happened in this episode. Isn't there an element as well of like danger, I think, that comes with taking the mask off and then you're putting yourself at risk of either, I know it sounds weird, but as a person with my neurodiversity, whatever the heck is going on in here, like I put myself in danger all the time because I open myself up to the wrong people. And I think there's an element of like, it's not rude for that part of my personality to not be for you. And it's like, you know, because do you find that you're perceived as rude or as standoffish by anybody in that sense? And I don't mean to put that thought in your head, but I know as a neurodiverse person, it can be a thought that does come into your head.
I think when I was younger, yes. But I think what's interesting about my neurodiversity with the added layer of being a black woman comes with you kind of have to put a mask on as a black woman anyway when you're stepping out into society and you're meeting people and you're talking to people, because if you don't smile, you're rude. If you don't, you know, try and come up with some level of conversation, oh, she's not very nice. The opinion of you is very quick to be like, well, she's not nice. So I think growing up in London, I felt like, okay, I kind of have to have a mask on anyway, even prior to having my diagnosis. So then having my diagnosis on top of being a black woman, I think I'm kind of like, I'm always having to be masking and smiling so that people don't think I'm rude. And so people don't think I'm rude because I think I'm really conscious of that. But then since my diagnosis, I've been trying to unmask more. And that can just be, if I don't find a joke funny, I won't laugh. And actually, like, not smile if I don't need to smile. And you know what I mean?
And I think, I'm really grateful for you to speak on the position as a black woman, because I think the sense of hypervigilance that you have to live with and safety, it's not it's also about safety, isn't it? It's about protection for yourself in an environment where you do not know if you are safe until you've analysed the environment.
Exactly.
It must have made it doubly difficult, because I think that, I don't know the statistics of it, but I think being a black woman getting diagnosed is even more difficult, I think.
Way more difficult. I mean, there's so many factors even within that, because I think certain like things that bring us comfort or stims, whatever, for me, it would be taking out my braid and putting it back in, taking out my braid and putting it back in. And you could say with certain food textures or whatever, I'm very happy having Caribbean food, but I've had that since I was a kid. So I wasn't very picky with certain foods. I am picky with certain foods, but also not the same as, you know, a white autistic person who, you know, could only have, off the top of my head, so don't cancel me, fish fingers and chips.
Yeah.
They might only want like something really plain. I'm very happy to have curry goat and rice. And that for me is because I've grown up with that. So there's like so many added layers, I think, which people would then go, well, you're not really, you don't really have a problem with textures, or you're a singer, so noise doesn't seem to really bother you. And there's so many things where I'm like, no, like if you saw me as a child and even as an adult now, if I hear shouting in the distance, I'm frightened. I'm like, honestly, a cat. Like I can hear things. I was in the hotel room the other day. I know when the food is about to arrive.
Yeah.
I can hear them come out of the lift and I go, food's here. Next minute, the door's gone.
Yeah.
Told you. Like my senses are like on overload, but I think people just go, oh, well, you do this, so No.
That is really interesting, the food thing. Because
Yeah.
I've obviously, as a white woman, I've not experienced that
Yes.
as a white woman.
A wheat woman.
And all I eat is fish fingers and chips. No, but the element that is so interesting, because a doctor perceiving you as not fussy or not fussy in an autistic way because you eat food that they are fussy about and they are not perceiving as normal is a huge flaw in the system. Yeah. Because it's like, as you've already highlighted, it's just, but as a person that's not experienced that, I'm like, fuck, I haven't experienced that. Yeah. And it's something that is great to talk about, because when you think about it on that logical sense of like, what is your food normal, and in what way does food make you uncomfortable? Is it the texture? Is it the foreignness of the food, as in, is it something you've eaten since you were a child? Is it something you were introduced as when you were younger?
I'm like, I can't have, if I've got a meal, I can't have something sweet. If I'm having a savoury meal, I think dessert is after. So if there's something sweet on my plate, my stomach just closes. I put it in my mouth, that's me done.
God, that's really interesting.
Yeah, and there's this young autistic girl on TikTok, I forget her name, and her mum kind of shares videos of her to share awareness of, young black girls with autism.
I think I know who you mean, and I love her.
She speaks so eloquently.
Yes, and she talks about her friends a lot. It's a lot about her trying to make friends.
Yes.
Yes, I love her.
So when people are like, oh, so she speaks really eloquently, and she speaks almost like she's watched every episode of Bridgerton.
Yes,
ever. And I'm like,
beautifully spoken.
Yeah. And my mum sends me her videos and she goes, oh my God, this is you. Like going in and out of accents all the time, or like really being a sponge based on the media you consume, the people you're around. Because some people are like, oh, you don't really have a South London accent. I'm like, if I'm around certain people, my South London accent comes out more. But I watched Made in Chelsea since I was 11.
Yeah.
Honestly, the first 5 seasons of Made in Chelsea, just absolute cinema. Yeah. And I love it.
But that's really interesting. I think all of the revelations that come to you in diagnosis is so beautiful. Yeah. But also, it's also really important to share awareness in spaces like this. We're talking about autism. We're talking about every element of the spectrum of it. Yeah. And there is going to be a lot of young black or brown girls watching that hear that and go, oh, okay, maybe when I've been dismissed 5 times, I can actually understand that there are elements of it that do make sense for me. Yeah. My therapist once said to me, she was like, before I say this, I'm not a doctor and neither is she, but she was like, you don't need somebody to diagnose you to explain how you feel. You feel the way you feel, and that's the most important thing. Yeah. Understanding that is the most important thing.
Truly understanding yourself, understanding how your brain works, and working with yourself is the best thing that you can do. But I also preface that with, we're in jobs that we have the time freedom and ability to do that. I think if you don't, it's much, much harder, even to just accept it about yourself.
Yes, and I think it's a really lovely conversation. I'm really enjoying this conversation I'm having with you, and I love to talk about people and their inner selves and the things that make them tick. As we know, Go was one of the skyrockets of your career, and you've had an incredible career, and it continues to grow, and it's lovely to see.
Thank you.
But how have you found the fame in the last few years since Traitors and Go has affected you as a neurospicy person? Has it made you more proud of that side of you and how much you represent, or has it made it more difficult? Like, what's the impact been?
I don't enjoy fame. So I kind of just say that I'm not famous. And I really try my best to ground myself if I'm not doing anything that's like public facing during my week. So I'm glad, like, one of my main things was having a dog really grounds me, because I could, go to the Brits, have an incredible time, and then come back and she's like, dog. Walk me and pick up my poo.
Yeah, very humbling.
She's like, I don't even have the capacity to know what you even did.
Yeah. And I also could not care less.
I don't care. Take me on a walk.
Yeah.
So that really grounds me and helps me feel like I'm just, you know, this is my job and I'm so grateful that I can do it, but it really grounds me. And
you're just a girly pop.
I'm just a girly pop. And actually, I really love doing activities.
Tell me about, okay,
So
I can activity off with you right now.
I'm like, I can do a mini golf. Like, in a few days, I'm doing this thing called Hexmore, a wizarding experience.
Oh my God.
Why not?
I would love to do that.
Do you know what I mean? Like, there's just random things. Like, have you done the London Bridge experience?
Yeah, of course I have, mate.
Like, there's just random things.
Would you like to know a fact about me?
Yeah.
I worked at the London Bridge experience.
As an actor?
No, as well, before you even get the joy of being an actor, there's these people that sit outside the front and go, rah, do you want to come inside? That's me. I also was a wench at the London Dungeons for a year.
What's a wench?
What isn't a wench? A wench is sort of a woman from the like 1900s who would be like, come on, get in here. And, you know, just a sort of wench. Like,
okay.
Could be a sex worker, could be just an older woman who shouts at you in the street, like, wench.
And you were the one to beckon them in?
Yeah. At the London Dungeons, I used to be like, come in here and have a wonderful time. Yeah, horrible. I wasn't paid by the London Bridge experience for the 1 day's work I did for you, though, so...
Wow.
Coming to get sued from me at some point.
That's crazy.
But I do like... Yeah, you can imagine it, though, can't you?
Yeah.
Like, fully.
I can. Whoa, that's actually crazy.
Yeah. I wish I had pictures. I don't have any pictures of me in a wench costume.
So you could be lying.
Do I seem like a liar to you?
No.
I cannot lie.
Can you not?
No. I am.
I
That's
would
why
say I can't, but I lied.
Well, I was going to say I
television.
need if I go on Traitors, I need to be a traitor
Why?
because I want to learn to lie in a really, really like intense way. I want to learn to be like, I want to learn to lie.
You want to learn to lie?
Yeah.
I feel like I didn't really have to lie.
No, you were great.
No one asked me.
No, and my favourite thing is when, was it Stephen Fry was like, you were looking a little bit tired this morning, Kat, and you went, I'm just autistic. And I was like, mwah.
And like, the thing is it was
that's
so
true.
perfect because when he said that was the day that I was really just, everything was overstimulating me. I was like, this is so intense. Just the game itself, not lying and being a traitor, I was just like, I'm speaking to people all the time.
Sick of it.
I just need a sec.
Also,
That's why I took a nap.
Yeah, don't need your opinion all the time. Like, that's the only thing that I think I'd find hard is like, you know, when they come over and they're like, oh, I think this about so-and-so. And I'm like, I don't care. For a sec, I don't care.
Especially don't care because you're wrong. It's me.
But it's me and shut up. And
It's
like, you know, that's what I would be like.
It's me. Why does no one think it's me? And then when Celia thought it was me, I was like, thanks, Celia. I am good.
I love Celia Imrie.
She's one of my favourite people. She lives in France in a little apartment.
Oh, un appartement. Très bien. Sorry, back to that. I love Celia Imrie so much. And I love her even more after seeing her on Traitors.
She's just amazing. I felt kind of lucky that going into the show, I really didn't know that many people.
Yeah,
didn't really know of many people. I remember being like, I love Alan Carr, so if I get to just like chat to him, that would be great.
With him, that'd be fun.
And then we really did, but
turns out he's a good liar.
He's not. He's actually really awful.
But maybe that's what makes a good liar.
But he was himself the whole way through. So people were just sort of like, he's just making it. He's just Alan.
Kooky guy. You did make it to the final as well, so you're obviously a good liar too.
Just about. Lost at the end.
Gosh darn it. I, at this point in the show, like to do a by the way for you, Kat. And my by the way for you is, by the way, I'm glad you're a lesbian.
Aw, thanks. I'm glad too.
I love to see queer representation. It took me a while to do that for myself, and now I do it. That's the whole point of this podcast, because I love talking about being gay.
You're gay.
You're gay.
You're gay.
How about you're gay? Look at us, gay. Look at us.
Gay.
I love being gay and I love talking to other people about being gay. Being gay.
Being gay.
Gangooly gay. What's your favourite thing about being gay?
Oh, I don't have to work to decenter men from my life. I think there's lots of straight women now that are decentering men because they're like, why are they the center of my universe? They don't need to be.
Mm-hmm.
But I think when especially when I first came out, I was like, whoa, men aren't useful.
Did you always know you were gay, or did you hide it in your own brain? Because I hid it in my
I hid it in my own brain.
I truly didn't know.
I dated boys.
Same. Girl, I had a boyfriend for 3 years.
Really?
And I loved him, by the way, and I enjoyed the whole thing. But then it was like, oh.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy it.
No.
But I thought that it was just like, oh, this is just... And when I would speak to, like, my straight girlfriends, they were like, yeah, you just haven't met the right guy. Like,
or they probably have a similar experience and they don't enjoy it.
Exactly.
And then you're like, oh, we're all just not enjoying it.
We're just, oh, okay, great. So we just all don't enjoy it then. Great. And then when I finally came out, I was like, whoa, wait. This whole idea of, like, you know, how I dressed. And I think for me, pre-coming out, I was like, how I dressed, everything was really for male validation in some way. And then coming out, I just kind of got to release all of that instantly. And I was like, oh no, I can present myself how I choose, how I want to, for myself, what makes me feel attractive, and dress for the female gaze.
And for the female gaze.
And for the female gaze, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's one of my favorite things about being gay. And also just like, I just think queer love is really, really special. And lesbian relationships, to me, like, to not sound weird, but it's your best friend.
Who you have sex with.
Yes. Your best friend. But also, like, there's a sisterhood in that.
Well, the fact that so many queer people remain friends with their partners.
Yes, is a very high indication of, like, you have a deep, deep bond and connection, and it's almost like a sisterhood, especially when you have, like, sleepovers and you talk and you get really deep with each other in a way that it's just, I just think is different in straight relationships. And that's not to say that you guys don't have deep, deep connections. I'm sure you do. But you think of even just straight women, if you think of you and your best girlfriend, there's just that, like, deep bond that you have that I just think is just so special.
I think that's beautiful. We get to utilise what a lot of straight women experience in their friendships. We get to utilise that in a romantic way, which is extremely lucky.
Yeah.
And I feel this sense of, like, I think it suits my neurodiversity because I feel things deeper than what seems like anyone else. I feel I have this cavern of emotion.
There are some statistics, don't quote me, that quite a few neurodivergent people tend to also not be straight. And
perhaps that is an open-mindedness, because I think there is a spectrum of sexuality within everyone, that somebody sits somewhere on that spectrum.
Yeah.
And a lot of my female friends would like to sit further on the gay side, if I'm honest, but they can't. And that's, you know what, because you can't choose to be straight.
You can't choose.
You can't choose to be straight. So sorry. So sorry, guys.
You just are.
But yeah, I do think it's true. And I feel this love for my girlfriend that I just have to, like, she's the black cat energy and I'm the Labrador. I will just text her and be like, God, I love you so much. It makes me feel like I want to explode.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's difficult to do sometimes in heterosexual relationships, because a lot of men really sadly are deeply impacted by the patriarchy and find... And it's not their fault. A lot of the time, it's not their fault. It is what's been ingrained into them. And when we unlearn the patriarchy, both men and women and anyone in between, we get this unbelievable freedom to experience what is essentially a queer relationship in a heterosexual one, because you are unbound by gender norms.
You are. And I'm really lucky to have, like, a good few straight men that are written by women in my life.
Same.
And I love them so much. And I urge every straight man to locate yourself a lesbian friend, because we will help you through.
We will make you maybe a better person.
We'll mold you into the perfect man.
Yeah, because we know what women want. You know that film, What Women Want?
Yeah, we know.
It should be remade, but What Women Want is just a lesbian telling a man what women want, and then...
Or, like, even one of my friends, like, he recently got into a relationship, and he was like, I'm going to ask her on Valentine's Day. I said, don't do that. That's 2 in 1. Don't try and be cheeky and be lazy. Spread it out. Make her feel special. Get her gifts. Don't just do it all in one. He was like, oh. I said, it's not about that. And she'll love you forever.
Contact Cat Burns if you're having any heterosexual relationship problems.
I am a guru.
Yeah, I don't doubt it, girl.
I'm a guru.
Have you got something you want to get off your chest?
By the way, the puppy blues is real. If you've just got a puppy and you're struggling to know whether you've made the right decision, it will be worth it when they hit about 2 years old plus. For the first few weeks, you will look at each other a bit like this. And the dog will look back at you and go, ooh.
What do you mean? Like, so you don't like the puppy at the beginning, but then you...
Yeah, when you first get a dog,
Scary.
It's just hell on earth. It's a complete disruption.
It's like the same as a baby. Yeah, it's the same as a baby. I had the same. I panicked when I got my cat. It's the same as. I think it's the same as a cat.
They completely disrupt you.
Yeah.
They're like, you now have to create a routine around them. I'm lucky because my dog actually was an angel in comparison to other people's. Like, she doesn't bite shoes or bite wires, or like, she didn't really have that face. She doesn't really like. She just likes sort of food, like human food. So if you leave that, she'll eat that. Other than that, she's not that kind of dog. But even I found it hard of just like, oh my God, I need to like entertain you and like train you, and this is really intense, and like you're like crying in the middle of the night, and it's just so much going on whilst they're young. And then I had to like get some help from trainers, and they were like, you have to think like they're a few months old, that like their brain has not progressed at all. You need to give them like 2 years. And I'm like, 2 years? That's a really long time. But now we're hitting the 2-year mark, and I just look at her and I just think,
you're my girl.
That's what I think. So if you're in the puppy stage right now, it gets better.
I have the same experience with my cat, and now he's the best, although he still wakes me up at 4 a.m.
Oh, my girlfriend's cats do the same thing. 7 a.m. And I go, oh, open the door. And it's just because the door's shut. It says, don't you dare have that door shut ever again. And then he walks away.
Yeah. Oh, it's all about boundaries.
Don't ever shut that door ever.
And honestly, that's my girlfriend. Like, that is my life. Like, and I freaking love it from all angles, from the cat, from my girlfriend, from everyone. And before we go, I'm sad to say we're coming to the end of the lesson. And that's the end of the lesson. Pack up your bags because we're going to go.
Yeah.
But before we go, have you got any life advice you'd like to leave the audience with?
Life advice. You see those videos of celebs when people ask them that and they're like, just keep going. Keep believing in yourself.
And that is good life advice in a sense, because if you don't keep going, you stop and then maybe you die. So
just keep going and believe that you can do it, because you can. That's my life advice.
I really like that, because if you didn't keep going, you'd be dead. So
you wouldn't keep going.
And then you'd not be going. And then where would you be?
Exactly.
Cat Burns, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on By the Way. And remember to subscribe. Click that subscribe button. Join us every single week, where I'm going to have masterpieces of an episode for you with each of our guests. Cat, thank you.
Thank you.